Created by Helmet Fox, A Changeling Tale is a story-rich visual novel filled with endearing characters, a wonderful setting, and a truly one-of-a-kind experience. I came across this game on Steam, and a friend bought it for me. I began playing, not certain what I would find, but eager to find out. Please note, this review is for the game as it existed in late 2024, before the latest update. The setting is Scotland 1919. The game takes place shortly after the Great War, when Malcolm Campbell returns home after serving on the front lines. The town is called Achnacrige, and it is a small, quiet hamlet in the Scottish countryside. I really enjoyed exploring the locations as the game progressed. It provides a wonderful backdrop for the different versions of the story. A quintessential small town, it has a tavern, a train station, and a market. The art is vibrant, giving each location its own personal charm. The main character is Malcolm Campbell, a young man struggling to readjust to life after months or years on the front lines. Facing the horrors of battle and coming out the other side, he comes home to a world changed for him. Other main characters are his gran, who waits for him at home and is the picture of a loving grandmother. With Malcolm's parents out of the picture, the two of them share a farm together. He is given the opportunity for 3 love interests, Marion, Jessie, and Grace. 3 sisters of the MacLeod family. They are an interesting bunch, with homebody Marion tending the farm, Jessie dreaming of the big city, and Grace longing for a life at sea. Discharged from the service, Malcolm returns home to Achnacrige, his hometown. Scarred by the months on the front lines, he searches for something to restore his love of life. The soundtrack to this game, composed by Cheesy Dino, is a character in itself, crafting a complete experience from the music, which adds emotional depth as well as character to the mostly still backgrounds, helping sell the story and the world to the player. Always adding to the scene, never pulling focus away from it, it presents an excellent element to the atmosphere, giving it multiple dimensions and creating a full scene in which one never stops to think that they're reading text on a screen, but instead feeling the emotions the scene is meant to convey. An integral part of the experience, the soundtrack is gorgeous and well worth purchasing after the game, so that you can experience the compositions all on their own. Like most visual novels, it's an interactive story, somewhat akin to a choose-your-own-adventure book. As Malcolm, you take on his persona as he returns home after the war to try and heal, and find his way back into the simple life he helped defend. Choices are simple, with the most impactful ones occurring early on in Act 1, when the player decides which romance to pursue, if any at all. Currently, 4 options as of the time of this writing. One's choice will determine which sister one spends the most time with, and in turn romances. If desired, a hint system can be activated which will display a butterfly during a choice affecting the ending, or a symbol representing each of the 3 girls' transformed states if you wish to encourage one story over the others. The first time, I recommend letting your instincts guide you. You won't be disappointed. Easter eggs and mini-games are sometimes available if found, but for the most part, one follows along with the story, choosing the path when offered. It is an experience meant to be enjoyed and to take one's time with, absorbing it as one goes. Where to begin with this game? For a long time, I just didn't get visual novels, preferring to read books or watch movies or play games. I didn't think of them as playable experiences, being impatient with games that technically didn't let you do anything. But somewhere along the line, I played one that I had long seen but never gotten around to, until at last I put it into my queue. Now, it wasn't this game, but what that experience did do was teach me what a visual novel was, and that it was not like most games I was used to, where you would defeat enemies with magic or battle aliens on the bridge of a starship, but just another way to experience a story. With this in mind, I came into A Changeling Tale with fresh eyes, and I began to play. Gifted from a friend who had played it before, I was out of excuses. I decided the first time I wanted to go in blind, knowing that there were multiple romance options, but wanting to see where my choices took me. The first time Malcolm Campbell returned to Achnacrige, he fell in love with Marion. A shy, down-to-earth, responsible, hard-working girl, she is delighted when he returns to the quiet, gentle town. Beginning to fall in love with her, he is shocked to discover that she has slowly started to transform. Without spoiling too much, I'll say that Marion was a romance which I approached by being the kindest gentleman I could be. Pouring upon her unending love and support, their romance grew, and while I admit being a furry player had no small part in this, it went hand in hand, or perhaps hand in hoof, with my personal philosophy of being supportive and open-minded no matter what, barring malicious intentions. The story was fun, and if you wish, you may enable the adult options of the story, but with or without them, I found Marion's Tale a charming romance and one I thought could not be topped, until I met Jessie. In contrast to Marion, Jessie is an adventurous firebrand who could not be further from her sister if she tried. Seeking fame in the big city, she looks for her future on the stage, singing and performing at the Stag and Nanny, the local tavern. While Marion is the girl next door, Jessie is the wild child that will take you places you never expected to go. Significantly different from Marion's path, Jessie's was one I approached with curiosity, and it was an exciting ride pursuing a romance with this fiery girl. Excited to follow the twists and turns, I enjoyed following Jessie as she led me by the nose, certain that once again I could not love this game more. Again, I was wrong. Not knowing what to expect with Grace, I had saved her for last. I was aware before I began of their transformed states, so I admit I allowed my personal preferences to dictate my chosen playing order. The youngest of the three, she has always felt apart from her sisters. Not having the benefit of knowing their mother, Grace subconsciously felt that her family blamed her for her death, even though for most of them this is not true. Whereas with Marion, the transformation was gradual, and with Jessie, the transformation almost instantaneous. With Grace, the transformation and the relationship that went with it evolved in steps. A girl who loves the sea, she spends most of her time by the water collecting seashells. It is her relationship with Malcolm that begins her transformation. While she is excited, most everyone else is hesitant. The more she changes, the more she welcomes Malcolm into her world, and every time they become more intimate, her changes advance. Eventually, it hits a point where she has changed so much she no longer knows if they are compatible, and what follows is simultaneously uplifting and compelling. Overall, I found the story to be an incredibly engrossing experience, drawing me in more and more with each story path. One of the few games I was determined to see everything there was to see, I was so pleased that I was able to become a Patreon supporter and look forward to new content that will be added to this already wonderful experience. If you like post-apocalyptic fiction, polar bears, and adventure, check out my newest release, Winterfall, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. And don't forget about my werewolf novel, Blue Moon. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Catch you later.